The thing is with this particular year is there were so many eligible shows and really good eligible shows that whatever happens, it's going to be a bloodbath for someone. Oh my god, hey, welcome back to my theatre-themed YouTube channel. My name is Mickey Jo. I'm joined today by my stagey fiancé.
Hello, it's me, Aeron James.
It's Aeron James, everybody. And we are here together today.
We are.
To discuss... Wow. Are you okay? What did you do?
I just managed to, ink myself with my nail.
Oh, sad. You've still got some glitter on you from the Sister Act launch, by the way. We are here today to discuss the upcoming Olivier Awards 2024 nominations.
Yes.
Which are going to be announced midday UK time over on
Tuesday.
TikTok on Tuesday the 13th.
Yes, and they will be hosted... I think so. And they'll be hosted
12,
by...
12. It's the 12th, everybody.
But they will be hosted by Olivier Award winner... Beverly Knight.
Winner, yes, we saw her win last year. And, we're excited about the awards nominations coming out. We are also incredibly nervous.
I've been counting down the day for this to happen and talking about it for a while. But now we're getting close to it and we actually put together, a predictions list. I'm now dreading it because there's so many people that can... there are going to be a large amount of people that should be getting
deserving
nominations.
People that will miss out on nominations because there simply isn't enough space because we have so many categories that limit the nominations to 4 rather than 6. We have so many shared categories where it's like plays and musicals. Creatives get lumped into the same category.
It's not even sad, there's, a couple of people that will be left out. It's not like the Tonys where there aren't that up to 6, that great thing. It's a hefty number of people.
Yeah. And we love awards shows. And if anyone is thinking this is just an awards show, then they matter. Not only do they change the career trajectories of the cast and creatives who get nominated and win these awards, but also they're a really useful element of marketing that change the success of a show. They're one of the few things, especially, and I say this in every video I feel like at the moment, in the very challenging current theatrical landscape where everything is very commercially driven and you better be based on a popular film and you better have a big star name if you want to be able to sell any tickets. Getting a big award win, a legitimate award win, is one of the only things that allows shows that aren't from one of those backgrounds, like a Kimberly Akimbo over on Broadway, to sustain a longer run. It breathes new life into a production by signalling to theatregoers this is of quality.
Or a commercial run, Standing at the Sky's Edge last year winning would not have got a commercial run without
which has just opened in the West End at the Julian Lynn. You're so right. Today we are going to be predicting which shows, which creatives, which performers are going to get nominated for Olivier Awards on Tuesday, and just trying to commit this to a list and realising how restrictive it is.
It's made me feel really sad.
It's sad and anxious.
Yeah.
But we're going to go through and then... we're going to be live reacting. That's the other thing I should say. We will be live when the results come out here on my channel on Tuesday, midday UK time. That's going to be 7 a.m. for the tiny American people in my camera. Australians, I have no idea what time it is for you, but join us when you can. And we're going to be live reacting. Some point subsequently to that, we may have the chance to then review our predictions and see who was closer. But at the time, our minds are just going to be too blown by all of the nominations coming in.
Have a blanket and just hide under it once these come out.
Oh, it's going to be stressful. It's going to be so stressful. Best new play.
I found that quite easy.
Okay, talk me through in alphabetical order, if you don't mind. Your nomination, because that's how they're going to come up on the day.
Are we including the little preface words, like the A and the? Are we including...
A's and thes don't count. I was a librarian for years. A's and thes do not count. No, I'm not bending on this.
I feel like an A would.
No, I refuse.
That would look so confusing, though, when it's on the screen.
Do you want me to go first?
Go first.
Okay. I have got Dear England.
Yes.
You agree. I have got The Hills of California.
Yes.
At the Harold Pinter Theatre. I have got A Little Life.
Yes.
Also at the Harold Pinter Theatre. That's where it was first. And I have got The Motive and The Cue.
Yes.
I've only put 4, but I should put 5, shouldn't I? So I'll then put in Stranger Things: The First Shadow.
So that was my 5.
Are we exactly matching?
That is exactly my 5. There are 2 shows that I think have a chance of being a surprise one.
Go on, what are your surprise shows?
Well, they both were at the National at the Dorfman.
Ah, so Till the Stars Come Down
and
Infinite Life. Yeah, very true. Possibly.
Both extremely well liked by critics and by industry people, but they don't have for commercial producers, and as we've already named 2 National Theatre shows, so that many National
It's been a stonkingly
theatres...
good year for the National Theatre, I will say. My goodness, that we're talking about so many of their shows in contention
And that's the only reason I didn't put either of them in there, because I was like, over 2 National Theatre plays in Best New Play would be a surprise.
If you had to pick 2 that are the firmest locks, what are your firmest locks in that category?
Dear England and the Hills of California.
Mine is not Hills of California. Mine is Dear England and A Little Life.
The next category is Best Revival. So I put Vanya, The Picture of Dorian Gray,
Okay.
Shirley Valentine, An Enemy of the People, and The Scottish Play.
You mean Macbeth?
That one.
We're not in a theatre. This is fine. I only put 4.
Okay.
So I said all of those except for The Picture of Dorian Gray.
To begin with, I was like, I'm not even sure which category that goes in.
Well, it's because it's just the book on stage, like it's an adaptation of the book, but because it's basically just the book on stage, some sort of classics rule has to apply there. It can't be considered...
Well, this is... But I think that
new
The
play.
Picture of Dorian Gray has been on stage before.
I've only put 4, and I think we'll probably only get 4. Do we usually get 5 in Revival? This is something we could have fact-checked earlier, isn't it?
4.
4. I think if there's any that won't make it in, it might be Dorian Gray. I don't know, because it's just this one element, which is the video design, which is the cleverness of it, does that an entire production make? I don't know. I'm leading myself down a garden path here with this one, because it was a really remarkably well put together
The
piece of
majority
theatre.
of them have been quite recent as well. All
There's a-
have had NT Lives recently. It's only really Shirley Valentine, which was quite early on in the season.
Shirley Valentine was a long time ago, and it essentially is tantamount to a performance.
Yeah.
So whether that just gets recognised just with a performer nomination, I don't know. Also worth saying, we're more well versed of the musicals this year than we are of the plays.
Yes.
There's some of these play productions
There are
we
some
did not
revivals
see,
we did not see.
and some new plays we did not see.
Yes.
Shall we talk about Best New Musical?
Okay.
I have Hadestown.
Yes.
And we've been debating this several which ways to Friday. We still don't really know its eligibility, but I think we're assuming.
How they started their whole campaign on socials was saying that it was a developmental run when it was at the National.
Yeah.
And it did adapt a lot before Broadway.
Yeah.
So
I think the conversation since they've started coming back has been, hey, remember when we were in London before at the National Theatre, which didn't count, by the way. I then have The Little Big Things.
Yep.
That's a definite nom for me, I think. Operation Mincemeat is also a definite nom.
Yep.
Can I do my Superman reveal? Excuse me. Bam! It's Operation Mincemeat. Everybody, I'm going to button back up for the next time I get to do that. Remind me next time that gets a potential nomination. I have Next to Normal.
Yes.
I've gone out of alphabetical order, I apologise. And I have A Strange Loop. Some years there are 5 Best New Musical nominees instead of 4. Most years there are 4, sometimes there is 5. There had better be 5 this year because there are so many. I could have named a bunch more.
There's one more I put as a potential.
What's your potential?
Outlier, just for one day.
So I initially had that and I bumped it for A Strange Loop because that's what I want in my heart.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I actually predict that. If I'm actually telling you what I'm concerned might happen on Tuesday, it's just for one day and it's not A Strange Loop.
Yeah.
Is there any other show you could see getting a rogue nomination?
The Kiln looked like they were eligible, so we had a feeling that
At one point we were thinking, is Two Strangers, brackets, Karaoke Across New York, going
this
to be eligible?
season.
Yeah.
And then if that one was, that would have been the one that I would have said potentially had the way in, because it's so different from all the others that sometimes that works in a show's favour.
That could have upset a category. No, you're very right. You're very right.
But otherwise, I think everything else, I don't think anything... I think the other shows have a shared producer with one of these, so I feel like we've named their shows that they're going to push more.
I should say, this entire video is not who should get a nomination.
No.
This is not what we want to happen. This is our
what we think will
predictions.
happen.
Because if that list would look very different.
Yeah, it would look very different if we were saying these are the shows that we think.
And we'd have 20
should.
people in every category.
Yes.
Best revival of a musical. And
I found this easy.
the category of the year, I think, though. I think
Yes.
London Theatre this past year, for multiple reasons, not just for one show, has been all about musical revivals. Talk me through yours.
Groundhog Day.
Oh. you think Groundhog Day is going to get in there?
Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
La Cage aux Folles.
Yes.
Sunset Boulevard.
La Cage is a C. Because the L is still...
For the THE. Let's just stop with that, because it's just so much effort to be doing this whole
It's a
B's
verb, but it's
and
French.
A's. Because we know it's not going to
It's
happen.
Cage aux Folles, comma, la.
But we know it's not going to happen at the Oliviers.
If they do it that way, the dance I will do...
But they're not going to put la, a comma, and then la at the end.
But they still put it in at C. We'll find out. Listen, I'm willing to take that action. You want to make it interesting? I've got cash in the lounge.
I said 4, I didn't say Crazy for You.
You didn't say Crazy for You.
Do you know what I think the thing with Crazy for You is?
Go ahead.
Is that there's a certain amount... I mean, this is the same with Groundhog Day. There's so much of an element that pre-existed in a previous production because it's similar creatives returning.
I think Crazy for You is... It's been a longer time and it's more of a substantial remounting. Groundhog Day was really just here, won the Olivier. It still doesn't feel like a revival, especially because it's Andy Carl, again, because it's at the same theatre.
Groundhog Day is probably one of the few, if only, shows they got across the board 5 stars from everyone.
I still
love it.
weirdly am not ready to put it on my list of 4, and it's not even my fifth one that might get in. Groundhog Day is like
Interesting.
6th on my list, not of should, but of will. My rogue 5th one is Wizard of Oz at the Palladium.
The next category is Best Director.
Best Director. This is a nightmare. Have there ever been 6 nominees?
I don't think so. And I only wrote down 5 until we start.
I've got
I only
6
put down
names
5.
down, and I cannot tell you. There are still sizable omissions from this.
Rupert Gould for Dear England.
Check.
Sam Mendes for The Motive and the Queue.
Check.
Jamie Lloyd for Sunset Boulevard.
Check.
Sam Mendes for The Hills of California.
That's the one I didn't put on.
And Ivo Van Hove for A Little Life.
Check. So I have 2 in addition
Yeah.
to that. Nick Heitner for Guys and Dolls. And I have Stephen Daldry for Stranger Things The First Shadow.
Yeah.
And I just... these are such heavyweight names. I don't know. Let's say you're hosting this like West End cocktail party and there's 6 people who all think they're sat at like the top table. Which of those are you telling, sorry, you don't actually have a space at this table? Who are you like turning away? Sam Mendes, Ivo Van Hove, Nick Heitner, Jamie Lloyd, Rupert Gould or Stephen Daldry? I mean...
I'm gonna
Come on.
preface this with it is very sad that this list is all just men.
It's also that. It's also that.
Stranger Things is like an and an ah for me because I think in technical it feels it has to. But in these ones I just don't know.
That's kind of how I feel about Heitner with Guys and Dolls.
Whenever anybody mentions Guys and Dolls, the first person that comes to my head is Bunny Christie. I think if we said each show and we said, right, name a creative team member for that show, it would likely be Bunny Christie because it's the design work.
Mine wouldn't, but we'll get to that.
Interesting.
We will get to that. So, if there's one director to fall off of my list, maybe it's Nick Heitner. If there's one to fall off of yours, who is it? Who is your least confident?
I feel like it would be Sam Mendes just getting the one.
So, which of the 2 Sam Mendes is more of a lock for you?
Motive and the Queue.
Next up, we've talked directors, let's talk about choreographers.
Fabulous.
So, you said that Bunny Christie for the design was the first person
Yeah.
you thought of for Guys and Dolls. The first person I thought of was Arlene.
I mean,
Arlene
that's
Phillips
fair.
for the choreography.
Last year, Arlene won the Olivier for Lifetime Achievement.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, what I love is someone getting Lifetime Achievement and then
getting a nomination
getting
the next
right
year.
back to work, being like, oh, I'm still... You thought I was retired? I'm not.
Yeah. After that award, she did so much.
Yeah.
So many
She's
productions.
like, I'm working right
straight
now.
away.
I'm working next week. Hold this. Put it on my mantelpiece. Got places to be, dances to teach. Fabian Eloise for Sunset Boulevard.
I agree.
All that sprinting across the stage
Yeah.
action. David Neumann for Hadestown.
See, I hadn't thought about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I love the choreography in it. I think there was just a couple others I instantly put, and then I was already was stuck with.
Oh gosh, I didn't put Stephen Mear.
See, I put Stephen Mear down, and then I put a question mark with Susan Stroman because I didn't know she'd be eligible or not.
That's my curiosity, but I am going to add Stephen Mear for Le Cage.
I feel like Stephen Mear's choreography in that production was the highlight.
It was the thing. It was the moment, yeah. And then finally, and we talked briefly about
Yes.
this earlier, so I know that you have this as well.
Yes.
Ellen Kane / Hannes Langolf for Dear England.
Yeah.
There's always... Listen, the Olivier
Plays get
Awards... They love plays. The default is kind of plays
Yeah.
in the Olivier Awards. That's
Yeah.
why the categories are called Best Revival, meaning plays, but not said that, and then Best Revival of a Musical. The categories are called Best Actor, meaning plays, and then Best Actor in a Musical. So even in the categories you wouldn't think to see plays in, like choreography and original score or new orchestrations, it's not unusual to see a play getting nominated.
And I think if Ain't Too Proud had done its full run, we could have seen Ain't Too Proud in there, but I think it would have been forgotten about. There wouldn't have been a campaign around it.
I literally forgot about it until you mentioned it
Yeah.
in Argos earlier, and then I was like, oh yeah. I just mentioned the category. Which ones do you have for score/orchestrations? We're not going to even dive into the weirdness of this category and who can come into it and all of that, because I've talked about it at length before. Just search Olivier Awards and my name on YouTube and you'll find that whole rant of a video.
Operation Mincemeat.
Yes.
Next to Normal.
I don't.
Oh, why do I not have one on here?
This is the year we're having where there's so many...
Because I don't have Hadestown down, and I would put Hadestown there.
I think I bumped Next to Normal for Hadestown.
A Strange Loop.
Yes, So Help Me God.
And then my odd one was... I think there'll be an orchestrations one.
I agree.
First put Sunset. I think it could be Guys and Dolls or Just for One Day.
I think it's Just for One Day.
Because... And my hope, if there is going to be an orchestrations or arrangements one, is that it's Just for One Day, because the arrangements in that show are my favourite part of that show.
That's what I think, is that they've done the most evident work.
Yeah. They're incredible arrangements.
Yeah. I have the Little Big Things on here.
I wanted to put the Little Big Things in because I love it.
I think the Oliviers will.
I just don't know. Because
I have 5, so I have that. I'll talk you through my thought process. A Strange Loop I think is going to get in here because I think that might sadly be the cursory nom if the show doesn't get one.
For Michael R. Jackson.
For Michael R. Jackson, it's saluting the material. Yeah. Hadestown, relative to Next to Normal, feels much more contemporary and of the now, and Next to Normal isn't old enough to be classic. It just feels a little like late 2000s rock and roll dated.
Let's go to set design.
Let's go to set design.
Are we going for with show titles with first name alphabetical order or last name alphabetical order?
Just read the nominations.
Can I just say them?
I won't hold your feet to the fire on this one. How about that?
I went with Sutra Gilmore for Sunset Boulevard.
I do not have that.
Wow. Okay.
Because I think people will think that it's just a screen. Like, I think people would actually laugh at that nomination. Because, and not to say that it doesn't deserve one, it wasn't work done, but the whole joke is like, oh, Jamie Lloyd, there's never a set. Because it's a screen.
For me, it's depending on where they name, like, Nathan Ramsey and the team.
I don't think
for me,
they
it's
will.
where they name them. And if they
Can
are
you imagine
named
if we got a
them,
surprise video design category on Tuesday?
I would be a surprise.
There's a larger conversation to be had around this, but we were talking earlier, and we can name about 10 shows that used video design in a really big way this year. A few of them in a like production defining way, like Sunset Boulevard, like The Picture of Dorian Gray. I believe A Little Life as well.
I think Sutra Gilmore is going to get a nomination this year. It'll be either for Sunset Boulevard or for Just for One Day.
I don't have Just for One Day either.
Wow, okay.
Also uses video design.
Interesting. So then I had Bunny Christie for Guys and Dolls.
I don't have that either.
I think there is no way that Bunny Christie does not get a nomination.
Do you know, I went back and forwards on Guys and Dolls, because again, it's public perception of what set design is, because I agree with you, it absolutely should, but then it's like...
See, I thought that's one of the most guaranteed categories for that show is set.
It probably is. It probably is. I was thinking I'm probably wrong for excluding it. I don't know which of these I would drop.
I had Dear England.
I had Dear England.
Es
Devlin, yes.
Rachel Hawke for Hadestown.
I had that as well.
The one I didn't think would get in, but then I just put it there because I was like, it is a very impressive set, was Rob Howell for The Hills of California.
Oh, I didn't have that. I forgot about it.
I thought it was a stunning set.
Do you know, I forgot about that. That deserves one. I think it actually might, but Miriam Buther for Stranger Things.
That was the last one I wrote down.
Ben Stones for Operation Mincemeat.
So I had Mincemeat on the back of my mind. I think when the plays are so strong this year, like, that is an incredible moment. Some of those other shows have gone in the whole way through, and
I mean, Hills of California is actually the one you said to me that I thought, oh gosh, do I need to reconsider? Let's carry on with design. Let's talk about costume. And I have Bunny Christie's name written down here, because Bunny Christie was a co-costume designer on Guys and Dolls with Deborah Andrews. I am thinking I probably should have put Lacage, and I didn't.
I had Lacage.
Go on then. Who was the costume designer for Lacage?
Ryan Dawson-Late.
Michael Krass for Hadestown.
Yes.
I mean, I just kept getting stuck on it really should be. and I don't know.
You got a Tony nom.
I've got Evie Gurney for Dear England.
I do not have Dear England.
I just think it has such momentum that it's probably going to end up in a lot of categories.
I thought differently.
Oh.
And then I also had Crazy for You for William I Belong.
I mean, that's very musical theatre heavy for the Oliviers.
The Witches.
That's very musical theatre heavy.
And Stranger Things.
I've got Brigitte Reifenstuhl.
It is very musical theatre heavy, but I think the category that normally is musical theatre heavy is costume.
Mm-hmm.
I think that will be the category that the National might have pushed for The Witches.
You're shocked by something.
I don't know why I've forgotten about Old Friends for both of those categories as well, because set design was gorgeous and so was the costume design.
I know, but it's not like...
Palladium Panto normally gets costume design every year.
But Palladium Panto is very different.
But neither of us mentioned it.
Saucer gown for Bernadette Peters versus turn Julie and Clary into a boat are two very different things.
Oh, I just meant because of Lea Salonga's transformation.
That's really one of the things that could surprise is Old Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk lighting meanwhile. I feel a little more confident about this one.
Okay.
Everyone's name in my category begins with a J.
Nope, not for me.
I have Jack Knowles for Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
Jan Versveveld, I'm so sorry at the butchering of that name, for A Little Life.
I do not have that.
Fine. And then I have John Clark twice.
I have John Clark twice.
For Dear England and Stranger
Yes.
Things. Who else do you have?
I have Paul Constable for Guys and Dolls.
Paulie Constable, yes.
And I have Bradley King for Hadestown.
Who of those would you say biggest definite lock?
Jack Knowles.
For Sunset Boulevard?
I think so.
I'm saying John Clark, only because I get to say for either Dear England or Stranger Things, it's kind of a guarantee. Good year to be John Clark. Yeah. He sat at home somewhere, waiting to hear his name Tuesday lunchtime.
Yeah.
Do you want to read out who you've got for sound design?
So I have Paul Arditi for Stranger Things and for Guys and Dolls.
I have exactly the same.
I had Dan Balfour for Dear England.
I weirdly don't, but I probably should.
I have Adam Fisher for Sunset Boulevard.
He's great. Isn't that what she said at the What's on Stage Awards? Wasn't that?
Yeah.
Adam Fisher, you're great too.
Yeah. And Gareth...
You had to be there, it was an in-joke.
And Gareth Fry for The Scottish Play.
I have a different Gareth. But for sound, I'd forgotten about what they did with the...
That's the reason why I felt like if I didn't include it for the headphones experience, it probably...
No, that's so smart of you. It
was a move.
That's probably true. If you don't know, this was a production of Macbeth, you can say Macbeth, at the Donmar Warehouse, where the audience members all had individual headphones, affording the actors the possibility of this kind of like ASMR quality, because the microphone dialogue was getting patched directly to audience members, which was not a universally beloved concept. We didn't get to see this production.
No.
But it was certainly interesting. Certainly industry leading, I guess, and boundary pushing. I have a different Gareth. I have Gareth Owen for Just for One Day. We have this battle of the plays and the musicals and the creative categories, and I always like to hold out hope that musicals will dominate sound design because it's more moving pieces. It is harder. And I'm sure those who work across both will tell you that sound design in a musical is more challenging. You're not trying to balance a band,
and an orchestra.
Music levels that change when you get different numbers of humans in the room, in the audience. So let me tell you about the nominations I have written down for Best Entertainment or Comedy Play. And at this point, I should say we're not going to talk about the dance or the opera because we have no insight into it really, or the family ones, but we do hope that
Winnie the Pooh gets
Winnie the Pooh at the Riverside Studios gets a nomination. But as far as Best Entertainment or Comedy goes, I think Peter Pan, the Palladium Panto, will probably get a slot. I think Stephen Sondheim's Old Friends is a lock. I then did think The Witches might go here. If they're paying any kind of attention this year, they know it's incredibly crowded.
If they're being clever, they'd move it into that category.
New musical is way too overcrowded with Pulitzer Prize winning, Tony Award winning shows. The Witches is better off going into entertainment or comedy. I don't think it would go family.
I don't think so, because family's a lot younger.
Yeah, and The Witches was scary. I'm sure there are some that I'm forgetting because it's hard to think around this whole category. You've got Spitting Image then and Unbelievable. I went with Unbelievable.
I had them in brackets. I actually wrote down 3 that I was like, I kind of think so. And one of mine was Schoolgirls, as a comedy play
At
from
the
Lyric
Lyric
Hammersmith.
Hammersmith, yeah.
It did really well, and I think people will have remembered it because it sold out really well. I kind of expect at least one comedy play to get in there. So now let's move on to affiliate.
Best achievement in an affiliate theatre.
I quite strongly feel like Feeling Afraid
As
that
if
Samuel
something
Burnett
terrible was going to
in
happen, yeah.
will definitely be there. Strategic Love Play at the Soho I can see being there.
Uh-huh.
There was quite a lot that came down from Fringe that could be there. I just don't know the eligibility of everyone's.
You said Sleepover at the Bush.
It was very popular, yes.
You said Tambo and Bones.
At Stratford East.
At Theatre Royal Stratford East. I do think Two Strangers.
I think it would be there.
I think Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York is going to fly the flag for musicals in the affiliate theatre category, because so often
You never see them.
there are eligible musicals at places like the Charing Cross.
Allegiance was eligible last year.
Yeah, and they just don't get those nominations for whatever reason. So I'm hoping that Two Strangers flies the flag for the musicals. Let's get this one out of the way, because I lost years off my life putting these names on a list, and I still don't forgive myself. I do think Amy Trigg
Yes.
from The Little Big Things.
I think Amy Trigg is probably the strongest lock for me.
I think that's a lock as well. Eleanor Worthington Cox, I desperately hope for Next to Normal. I do think Grace Hodgett Young is going to be on there for Sunset Boulevard.
I don't know.
You don't know? I think
she's the most likely to have an unfortunate split the vote, where people vote for her for Eurydice and people vote for her.
But they're in different categories, so that doesn't split the vote.
It does, because if they vote for him in one, they might not in the other, and they've only usually give one vote.
I don't think so. I don't think that splits a vote. I'm saying it now. I think Sunset is going to get a nomination in every single acting category. My fourth was Gloria Dimitri for Hadestown. I had Mel, and then I remembered I'd forgotten Amy Trigg, and that Amy Trigg absolutely had to go into this category. And that's Melanie LaBarry, also from Hadestown. And then I torn between Mel and Gloria. I went with Gloria.
I agree. I kind of think both will get in.
So, who are your four?
My four were Amy Trigg, Melanie LaBarry, Gloria Dimitri, and Eleanor Worthington Cox.
So we didn't disagree all that much. If it could just be pushed to 5, then we'd both be happy. Do you want to talk us through your supporting actor in a musical nominees?
Yes, I found that one a lot easier. I had David Faxton, Jack Wolf, Jack Malone, and Tom Eden.
I had Tom Eden from Crazy For You, and I swapped him for Cedric Neal.
Why have I not got Cedric here? Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And I think if
deserving versus what will happen,
I know.
but I could see Cedric getting it, yes.
He's been getting nominated in other awards. He was in the What's on Stage mix.
And if there's people that you talk about when you leave that show...
I just thought that interval moment
Cedric
really
Neal.
stays with me.
Yeah.
And like, Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat is the show-stopping moment.
One.
Let's talk about featured actresses in a play. So I have Tuppence Middleton from The Motive and the Queue, who I loved. You can go watch my review. I gush about her performance. I have, and I don't know if you thought about this one, Gina McKee for Dear England when it was at the National Theatre. Now, we didn't see her because Dervla Cohen had taken over by the time it went to the Prince Edward, but it's a decent role.
Yeah, my kind of next one was Christine Nielsen for Infinite Life.
Interesting, yes, I could see that. I mean, everyone in that cast for Infinite Life, it depends who spoke to you, I guess.
Yeah, I think for me it depended on who, name-wise, people would also remember.
Yeah.
And then I had two people from the hills of California.
I suspect we went with the same people. Ophelia Loverbond.
Yeah, and Leanne Best.
And Leanne Best, yeah.
I think Gloria is such a strong role.
Do you have a most likely in that category to definitely get nominated?
Tuppence Middleton.
I would agree, it's Tuppence Middleton, yeah. The featured men in the plays.
This is where I just kind of...
Did you say musical?
No, I said in a play.
No, you said musical. We can go back to it. Roll the tape.
The featured men in the...
I just kind of threw names at it.
I'm only featuring 2 shows.
Luke Thompson.
I agree.
Zubin Vala.
I agree.
Will Close.
I agree.
Dara Hand.
I agree.
Patrick Bell.
Oh, okay. You've added a fifth.
Because actors in plays always get 5.
So that was the last one I was thinking about, was Patrick Vale.
Yeah, so that was my 5.
I would agree completely. Wow, look at us agreeing entirely on featured actor in a play of all categories. I did not see that
I
coming.
expected 2 people from Dear England, and I expected 2 people from A Little Life, because
I'm
it
encouraged
felt
that
like
because I was scrolling through the Dear England cast and thinking like, who are people going to respond to the most? So I'm encouraged that we chose the same ones. Will Close was a definite one for me, and then I was like, who is the second? Okay, no, I agree with that. Who is your? Well, I keep asking you this question, so I'll do it. I think Will Close, out of the whole category for me, is the biggest lock.
Yeah.
Let's talk actors in a play. Men this year have really pulled it out of the bag. Like, men have done a great job in British theatre this year. So in both plays and musicals, it's Best Leading Actor, kind of a bloodbath. And when you look at the calibre of the performances that I'm potentially excluding, it's shocking. I'm shocked. I shocked myself. So, I have, in alphabetical order, Joseph Fiennes for Dear England.
Yep.
Lock.
Yep.
Johnny Flynn for The Motive in the Queue.
Yep.
And Mark Gatiss for The Motive in the Queue. I think...
I feel like both will be in there.
When men do these, like, equal power plays, the Oliviers love it. Like, what was the other one? The Lehman Trilogy, they're like, everyone. All of you. Yes, we love it. We love the work. James Norton. Real life. And Andrew Scott, Vanya. And it hurts me. It wounds me that my boy, Daniel Rigby, is not on my list for Accidental Death of an Anarchist. But who am I taking off of that list?
You also just didn't mention Matt Smith or David Tennant.
I didn't mention Matt Smith or David Tennant. I don't think... Listen, I didn't see either. I'm very sorry. I haven't heard people talking about Matt Smith the same way they've talked about the other people on that list. I didn't hear people talk about David Tennant the same way they talked about other people on that list.
The only thing with Enemy of the People is I think it's one of the best reviewed plays of the whole year.
It might be, but the critics do not. The critics don't do the Olivier nominations.
It's tricky as well because that's only like that open right at the very end of the season, so you don't hear many people talking about those shows. So it's very difficult.
These are heavyweight performers to up against, and I do think Louis McCartney, for Stranger Things.
Because otherwise there's not really many newcomers, it's mainly people that have done stuff, so...
I will jump up and down if Daniel Rigby gets into this category, because he absolutely should. This is a year where we're looking at Sir Kenneth Branagh being on stage and potentially not getting a nomination.
Ian McKellen
being on stage and Roger Allen being on stage and not getting nominations. Like, the calibre of the people who are going to miss out on the nomination for Best Actor in a Play... They'll be in fine company. My goodness.
So Best Actress.
Yes.
I have Sheridan Smith.
Yes.
Sarah Snook.
Yes.
Laura Donnelly.
Yes.
Cus Jimbo.
No.
And Harriet Walter.
No. That is where we diverge. Not because I disagree, but just because I have different names.
Okay.
I have Maureen Lipman.
I always forget that Rose is part of this season.
For Rose at the Ambassadors, and that's my worry is that will people remember? It was a very
limited run near the start of the season,
but it was this incredible monologue performance. And Tracy Ann Oberman for The Merchant of Venice.
Fair play. I also thought, will they give it the chance to nominate Sarah Jessica Parker?
Do you know I hadn't even thought about Olivier's contention
and
for them.
Sophie Okonedo.
Oh, for Soho Place. Wow. Again, calibre.
Because that was a performance that at the start of the season you were like, it's a dead log.
I'm standing by my choices, but I don't know if I'm comfortable enough to say that anyone's a dead cert.
I don't think anybody is.
I'd say maybe Laura Donnelly, but I don't know. I don't know who, if anyone, is a lock in that category.
I felt like the closest is either Laura Donnelly or Sheridan Smith.
Now, frustratingly, we've been saying 5 names because the play nominations often go to 5. The musicals, for no good reason whatsoever, often go to 4.
Yes.
So this is about to get tricky. Let's talk about actors in a musical. And I'm going to talk you through my list because this is the category I have been saying all year is competition. I do have Tom Francis down, but I could also see him falling off of the list.
Yes.
I have Charlie Stemp.
Yes.
For Crazy for You. I have Kyle Ramar Freeman from A Strange Loop. Mm-hmm. I have Gabriel Vick from Doubtfire, which I think may be the show's only nomination.
Yeah. In
brackets, if a 5th magically happened, it would be Jamie Parker, I think.
So I don't know. So I have in brackets Jamie Parker, Craig Ells for Just the One Day as Geldof,
Yes, okay.
Luke Fallon from Cold War,
Potentially.
and Daniel Mays.
We do need to remember Cold War at the Almeida. It could
Cold
come in
War
and
is someone
surprise.
that I think for Cold War, these are the two categories that I feel like it has the strongest chance, which is with either Luke Fallon or Anya Chalotra.
So I'll let you talk through actress then.
So the four that I had were Nicole Scherzinger, Casey Levy,
Yes.
Marisha Wallace,
Yes, and I think those three
are locks.
are locks.
And then I'd put Natasha Hodgson as the fourth.
I had, but then you just saying Anya Chalotra.
So my four in brackets are Tanisha Spring, Anya Chalotra, Grace Hodgett-Young, and then a wild card, Jenna Russell.
I think all of those are wild cards, honestly, relative to... I mean, I think it's just the fight for that fourth slot.
The reason why I've spoken about Tanisha a lot, not only just because I loved her performance, but because she physically is the only performer that they could ask people to nominate for Groundhog Day.
But that's why I don't know if it's going to be remembered, because it has areas of ineligibility, and so you forget. I forgot when making this list that it was eligible.
You will remember one performer over a list of names, so that's the only reason why
she was great. It's just,
but she is like the wild card fourth person.
Yeah,
like I fully agree. She is like the. It just depends on which show they remember.
Well, there are going to be some surprises come Tuesday morning. I would love to know what all of you are thinking, even if it's just like commenting down below with like your most confident for each category. Don't feel like you have to write out dozens of names like we did. If you do want to, by all means, comment down below.
And this was just our thoughts of what we think will get nominated.
This is
not
just
our thoughts of like
trying to gauge from like how the Oliviers normally behave and like what's seemed like buzzy with the general populace, not necessarily our specific opinions. You'll find out more of those on Tuesday
when we react to them.
When we react to them and we realise who hasn't made it in, and we get sad about that, or we jump up and down happy for people, and we see who it is we're hoping for. I'm so stressed. Am I going to sleep between now and then? I don't know.
Who knows?
Please join us again on Tuesday, live, midday, UK time, on Tuesday, here on YouTube. We're going to be live reacting to the Olivier Award nominations. In the meantime, comment with all of your thoughts and your predictions down below, and I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day. For 10 more seconds, I'm MickeyJoTheatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!